story time about my encounter with a... This story actually just happened a couple days ago. I was at a friend's house. We were chit-chatting when out of nowhere I felt like a presence. Like I was trying to shrug it off, but I just kept feeling like there was something like standing behind me, like just kind of like listening to our conversation. She finally just looks at me and goes, "You can feel something. I can tell." I told her yes, that I could feel some sort of female standing behind me, and then she begins to tell me her story. A couple nights ago, her son woke up in the middle of the night. It was probably about 2 a.m. When he woke up, he looked towards his doorway and saw what he thought was his mom, my friend, standing there. He said that it looked exactly like his mom, and it was even wearing the same robe like that his mom wears all the time, but that something about her face was off, and it scared him. So he covered his eyes, and when he opened them up again, it was gone. Soon after that happened, he ran to his mom's room and told her what happened, and she tried to console him, and he ended up falling back asleep. Shortly after he fell asleep, my friend says, his mom says that she started to hear what sounded like knocking coming from the windows, and she even heard knocking coming from the door. This really freaked her out, so she couldn't sleep and ended up staying awake for most of the night. The next day, she was completely exhausted, so she decided to lay on the couch and take a nap. When out of nowhere, her phone goes off, and it's her friend, let's call her friend Katie, FaceTiming her. So my friend goes and cancels out the call and goes back to sleep. Katie then FaceTimes her a second time. My friend once again cancels the FaceTime and then texts her and says, "Hey, is everything okay?" Because typically Katie would never FaceTime her around this time. Katie responds with, "I didn't FaceTime you. You FaceTime me. I'm actually at work." When they looked at the call list, they both showed that they both had received phone calls that they both had rejected. So it was almost as if the other called each other, even though neither did. Then Katie sends my friend a video of her like standing in front of her computer, like she's at work, and her mouse is just going crazy like all over the screen, just making all these like weird symbols. But then she shows my friend like the mouse, and the mouse is not being moved at all, but for whatever reason on the screen it shows it like just going crazy. So as she's telling me all of this, we're still sitting there. I start to really like pick up on whatever this thing is, and it starts wanting to like connect with me. Right away, I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want to connect with whatever this thing is, because I knew it was something extremely dark. So I'm trying to block it off, and pretty much tell her, like, "You're not welcome. You need to leave this house. You're not welcome. You're not welcomed." And it scared me so much. And again, I'm so used to this stuff, so it typically like doesn't scare me. But this time, it really scared me. I was having like goosebumps up and down my legs. Like I felt chills. Like it was like, it literally got to a point where I told my friend that I was gonna go home. Well, the minute I leave my friend's house, as I'm walking away, I feel it. This thing ends up leaving with me. Once I get home, since I know that this thing is literally on me, I'm too scared to go in the house, or I don't want to go in the house because I don't want to welcome it in the house. So I ended up going out back, and pretty much when I'm over there, I'm like praying and I'm telling it like to leave me alone, go somewhere else, like you're not welcome. Then it finally almost like, it was like, I sound crazy saying this, but it was like attached to me, and I felt when it kind of detached, because it was almost like the weight came off of my shoulders, and then she left. After I got rid of her, I went back in the house, but I still felt off. Like something just didn't feel right. I kept feeling like there was like eyes on me, or like whispers, or like random knocks. Like it took a while for me to finally go back to normal. I ended up taking a bath. I love taking salt baths, and I just kind of scrubbed myself to get rid of any negativity or whatever energy this thing left behind. And it finally things did finally calm down. This is still an ongoing issue. I did go to my friend's house yesterday to kind of feel around her house, and I no longer felt that presence. I also don't feel it at my house either. And her son has not had any more nightmares. So we're hoping that whatever it was just kind of found its way and just like went somewhere else.
Girl, cause like what? Walking out the house and you feel it, like, oh heck no, we're gonna have to deal with this right here in the parking lot. Like, catch me outside. How about that, honey? Cause you ain't about to follow me to my house and know where I live so you can come back. Oh heck no, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, cause we're not doing that here, not at all, anywhere. Like what? You're wilding out, girl. That was scary. Because I be listening to these stories, and I'm just my imagination is just so great, so I can visualize what's happening, and just like, oh my glob, like what? He saw his mom in the exact clothes and everything, but something was off. He could tell, oh, that baby, that poor baby. And then the mom getting terrorized, knocking on the doors, windows, like the video call thing. Because if someone video calls me, I'll be like, why are they video calling? Like, it's just like there's only two people 3 people who will video call me, and one of those persons has betrayed us and went to iPhone. Betrayed us. Went over to the Apple side, so she doesn't FaceTime me at all. And I'd be like, my grandmama. I'm talking about my grandmama. I remember the first time she learned how to video call. Her brother taught her, and she video called me, and I think I was at work. And I was just like, what is going on? Who taught you this? And then she shows her brother. It was just too cute. But she went to Apple, so she don't do that. My uncle, we had a falling out because he's a Libra, and I got tired of his Libra ways. Love you guys, but there's definitely a dislike there because y'all be trying me, and I just be like, why you trying me? Why you trying me? Because y'all don't like me. Y'all don't like Virgos. It's whatever. Still love you. And who else video call? Oh, my sister. My sister would video call me, but she would Snapchat video call me because she didn't went to the other side. Well, she been to the other side for forever on the iPhone team iPhone for forever. So she'll Snapchat video call me. Only 3 people. So if somebody video calls me, I'm gonna be like, why are you video calling me? And still with my family, I just be like, why are you video calling me? And they hang up and call again twice. I would do the same thing she did. Text them like, what's going on? Why do we need to video call? Like literally what I did. Oh, and my mom used to video call me. She video called me the other day at the Walmart because I was getting cheese. Yeah, but she don't video call me that much. But yeah, that's, girl, what happened with the phone connection? Like, it's just like, who was calling you? No, Ashley, we're going to take away that W because we know about those 5 Ws. We really don't want to know. Don't want to know. I mean, we kind of already know who was video call you, but yeah, no friend. It's crazy because wasn't it a movie? Wasn't that a movie with the phone calls and the thing was the There's a few movies about that. There's a few movies. Comment below the movie you think I'm talking about because it's probably what I'm talking about. But yeah, nope. I'm glad she got it away from their house, the little boy, and her house. So glad. She should have cast it away to hell forever, for eternity.
Scary stories. This is perfect because I don't know if you guys can tell where I am. It is raining, and for some reason, scary stories are trending on TikTok. So I'm going to share my scary story. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. I do have green on, so I'm good. Okay, so this is like 8 years ago. We lived out in the country, like in the middle of nowhere, and my husband worked really long hours, and there was a prison about 3 or 4 miles away. Like, it's just, when I moved there, I'm like, great, this is not good. So no neighbors for at least maybe a mile, and like no next door neighbors at all, just isolated, right? So whenever my husband would come home for lunch, he would drive on, we had like this dirt patch. This is, yeah, just go with me here. But this dirt patch, and he would drive around and then pull up in front of the house. And I would see this like dust cloud go past the window, and I'd be like, okay, hubby's home. And so one afternoon, broad daylight, I decided to take a bath. And I, as one would, took off all my clothes, and all of a sudden, my dog starts barking. And if you're a dog owner, you know your dog has different barks. This was sound the alarm, feverish, like like crazy, like her like guttural, like came. She's like the sweetest, but something was wrong. I'm like, what is going on? So I look at the window where the dust cloud always is, because sometimes my dog will bark. Well, all the time she'll bark when daddy comes home, but not like this. But I still wanted to believe. I'm like, where's the dust cloud? Wait, he just left a couple of hours ago from lunch. So what is going on? So our bedroom had a door out to the back patio. Now, mind you, I am stark butt naked, and the dog is going crazy. And so our back door had like, it was a wood door with like the glass panel that goes from like above your head to probably like shin level, you know, glass panel in the door. And so there's a curtain on it, and I'm just like, what is she barking at? So I move the curtain back, and there's a man standing there that I do not know. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he was faced like sideways, and I was looking at him, so I saw him at profile. But now my first thought was, oh my God, this complete stranger has seen me naked. And then the second thought was, oh my God, who the is this complete stranger in my backyard? And I, like, again, like my dog, this voice came out of me that I didn't even recognize. And I said, can I help you? I just, you know, and I'm like peeking now. And he's like, I don't even know what he said. He was just like, and he starts high stepping it. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart is like this. And I'm like, it's a prisoner. He's escaped. He's trying to kill me. Like, I didn't even know what. And it's like, here's the thing. Just a little side note, two little side notes. One, when you live out in the country, you think you know what you might do. When your husband works long hours, you think you know what you might feel. All of those things, but you don't. My first thought wasn't call 911. My first thought was call my husband. And in hindsight, I guess it would have been better to call my husband. To call 911. But I just wanted him. So I called him. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And as I'm talking to him, I'm looking at the windows that kind of go around the house so I can kind of track this guy. The only thing I can see is like my husband's t-shirt, which is on the bed. So I grab that, throw that on. So all I have on is the t-shirt. At this point, honestly, I did not care if he had seen me naked. In that moment, I knew we had pew-pews, right? I had learned how to shoot pew-pews so that I could protect myself. And I was like, if I have to, I will this person, because instantly this thing took over in my head about survival, and that's all that mattered. Being seen naked didn't matter. Being alone, I was like, I will do whatever it takes to defend myself against this guy. So I'm on the phone. My husband's like, well, call the police. And I'm like, I don't know if it's an emergency. That's the thing. Like, sometimes we like second guess. So I watch him go around, and he's just walking really fast. And there's a car, I don't know, the equivalent to like three house lengths away, you know, I don't know about that. And I see it with the hood up, and I'm like, I'm calling the police. So the police come pretty quickly. I lived in a really small town, but they came pretty quickly. And he was kind of like, you know what I mean? And so he's like, yeah, I spoke to him, and he said he was looking for water because his car broke down. I'm like, that's BS. I'm like, look at that right there in the front yard. There's a hose and a water spout right there. He had to step over that to go to my backyard. Plus, who the hell invites themselves into somebody's backyard looking for water? Knock on the door, ring the doorbell. It was lies. You know what I think he was doing? He was looking for an opportunity to either like steal things from our yard or to break into my house. Because again, it's the country. I live in the middle of nowhere. It just seemed like we weren't home. I don't know. So the cop just goes off, and he's like, well, I'll kind of stick around and make sure he leaves. He's getting a ride or something. I don't even know. But my heart was beating and beating. So then about an hour later, after I'd somewhat calmed down, I put on my clothes and I went outside, and I could see that there was a reflection on the window of the door. So there was no way he had seen me naked, which brought me peace, you know, just based on the sunlight and everything and the darkness inside the room. But believe it or not, I'm actually thankful that this happened, because it taught me that when the chips are down, when you're scared as I would take care of myself, that I could take care of myself, that fear didn't make me freeze and make me not do what I needed to do, that I could protect myself. Because sometimes that happens, and no disrespect to anybody who's got a story about freezing. Like, each of us are different, right? So let me just say that first. But for me, I was able to tell myself in a moment that if something happens that scares the crap out of me, I'm going to handle myself. And that is priceless. So no, I would not have wanted that to happen, but yes, I'm glad that it did, because it kind of proved me to me, even though it was scary. You guys, share your scary stories with me if you can in the brief amount of time that TikTok allows you to. My name is Jody. I'm a storyteller. I hope you'll give me a follow. Bye.
Yo, that was a good story. She had me. I was engaged. But it's good. So many questions. Why was he in your neck of the woods? If you live in the middle of nowhere in the country, there was no reason for him to be there. Because we used to live in the country. Oh, I miss this. I miss it so much. We used to live in the country, and we knew all our neighbors. Even though they were miles away from us, we knew all our neighbors, especially at my grandmama's house. We knew all their neighbors because they was trying to buy that land. You know, we Cherokee, so our land is very valuable. They've been trying to buy our land for forever. My great grandma was just like, don't let them buy my land because we sitting on a gold mine. You ain't hear from me. I'm about to inherit that land. In fact, I'm about to buy it. I'm just gonna buy it off my mom. Like, forget that. But yeah, we know all our freaking neighbors. Even though it's miles apart, you best believe we know everybody who gonna come down this street. So the fact that she didn't recognize this guy, and he was in her area, like by her house, in her backyard, it's like, nah, he was up to something shicey. Because why? What, like she said, why would you go to my backyard, step over what you need from me, what you about to ask for? Because we ain't neighbors, honey. Don't ask me for no sugar because I don't know you. It'd be different if I knew. Like, the fact that you could call for help and you decided to come to my house is wild to me. At this time of day, and well, she said 8 years, still 8 years ago, still. If anything, I'm not about to. I had pulled over on the side of the road and I got stuck. I sinked into somebody's yard. You think I asked for their help to get out of their yard? No, they volunteered their services. I was just like, no, I'm not talking. I'm not going to go ask for, I don't know you. And the part of the country I was in, even though the part of the country I'm in, they love us. They don't look like us, but they still love us. It's a respect thing. It's so respectful because, like, one time my great grandparents' house burnt down, and the people of the community, all the races came together and built their house back together. Like, that's the community, that's the country, that's what I'm used to. That's our country. Even though we don't all look the same, we all respect each other. So I don't understand why he felt like, oh, I'm gonna just come to your door and not, well, we already know, because if he it really depends on, you know, some people just have privilege and they don't have to think like we think. Some people, they just don't have to think like we think, you know. Women, people of color, they don't have to think like women or people of color. So yeah, friend, he was up to something. I'm so glad you thought you was just like, like what you need, because it's really funny how you spoke up and said, can I help you? And he ran. Why are you running if you needed help? If that was the story you told the cops, why are you running? You could have been like, oh, my car broke down, I just need some water. No, it was none of that. It was none of that story. So no, friend, you did the right thing. And I'm surprised he didn't run after you heard your dog. Like, that's surprising. Like, what? Why was he still there? Girl, you should have went to the door with the pew, because he literally snuck up on you. You mean you didn't hear him come down the road? Because it low-key sounded like she was describing that she lived in a trailer. And being a person who has been trailer trash. Ooh, who been trailer trash? Being a person who has lived in a trailer, you hear everything. No one can pull up on you on a dirt road. In the country, no one can just pull up on you, sneak up on you, and you not hear them. Especially if she was about to take a bath. Girl, bye. He was up to something. He was up to something, girl. He knew what time your husband was gone. Girl, bye. Nope. Because it's just like, we've had experiences like that. It's just like, okay, bet. You fuck around and find out. You feel me? Like, but no, friend, I'm so glad you're okay. And that was a learning lesson for you. You are a fighter, not a flighter. I've learned that before. It's crazy because sometimes my mom thinks it's funny to scare me. And one time she almost got hit. And I was just like, Ma, you cannot do that. I am a fighter, not a fighter. I'm not going to run. We are fighting. I'm standing and we're going to face this fool forward. And it's so funny because literally stuff scary happens to me, and in my head I'd be like, okay, what we about to do? Y'all saw my balloon from when I hit 5K. I had my fan on, so it was moving, and I was like in a sleep. I could hear it moving. I was just like, what is that? Okay, when I opened my eyes, I'm gonna fight. And then I was like, oh, it's the balloon. So yeah, I'm glad she figured that out. Let's be in that fighting mentality. Let's get used to that, thinking let's fight, let's save ourselves, let's protect ourselves, because that's what we gotta do sometimes.
I read this story online and it literally scared me. It's called What Did I Just Witness? I will write down exactly where I read it in the description. But the writer says that she is a hospice nurse, and last night she was present for a end-of-life case for a patient that she had been caring for a little over 3 years. She says that the patient was at the final stages of life and his breathing was sporadic, it labored, and you can tell he was just exhausted. Because of his history of abuse, he was prescribed a higher dosage of pain medication to keep him comfortable and everything. She says that for about 2 hours, he laid there, his breathing was irregular. For a moment there, she thought he was going to pass, so she opened the front door because of her beliefs. And then she says that in the final 3 minutes of his life, something unexpected happened. So during this whole process, his eyes were closed, he seemed very relaxed, he seemed very comfortable. But right before the passing, his eyes just suddenly open. He turns his head towards the door and his expression just looks twisting and angry. She says his eyebrows are furrowed and his jaws just like moving back and forth, and literally his whole expression is just full of rage. Just as suddenly he relaxes, goes back to his resting stage, closes his eyes, and he passes. She says that her and the other caregiver could not believe what was going on, and it literally looked like he was about to start growling. So her question is, was this terminal agitation, or did they witness something far more unsettling? The writer said, and I quote, "The ride home was silent. I didn't know what to think, so I just started praying. The look on his face was deeply disturbing, demonic even. I don't know how else to describe it. That image is burned into my memory forever." So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it was just like a muscle reaction, or do you think it was something deeper?
What I think, because you hear those stories about people, they see their spirit guide or who is supposed to guide them to the other side, and they smile. I feel like he saw something something that he did not want to see. He was just like, you here for me? Nah, friend. Like, I feel like that's what I feel like. I would hate for that to have happened. Like, I've never heard somebody who was stories of somebody who was about to go onto the other side and it was a growl. I've never heard that. I heard them say their loved one's name. Like when Rose, Betty White passed away, she said that she said her husband's name. They said that she said her husband's name. I think it was Charlie. No, that might have been from the TV show. But anyway, she said her husband's name and was like happy, before she went on. I've heard stories like that. I ain't heard no stories about people growling, frowning up, like like that's what it makes me feel like he met them demons that he had in his past life, or maybe he had to meet his demons to go over to the other side. Like, okay, I'm over this demon. Like, nope, I'm good. I don't need you. Maybe that was it. I don't know. That's scary, friend. I couldn't imagine the stories that hospice nurse have. Like, people are built different. Those are different type of people. Beautiful people. Like, you gotta be tough, honey. I couldn't imagine the fact that you have to deal with death every day almost, or see people going through those last stages of life. I couldn't even imagine. Like, you would literally have to go get a soul bath, just clean your spirit every day. I feel like you would have to, because you don't know what you about to take home with you, what you're experiencing while you're there. Like, I can't even imagine. But like this video, follow all the creators, and subscribe.